Once you go under contract to buy your house, due diligence is on, and that is the window of time that you have to check out the house to make sure it's what you really want. So there's a lot that needs to get done in a short amount of time. We're going to go over a checklist for you today. I'm Tiffany Weber, and I am a real estate attorney in the Lake Norman area of North Carolina at Thomas & Weber. And I help people close on properties all day long, every day, except for Saturday and Sunday. During due diligence, you are typically looking to find out any facts about the home that maybe wouldn't have been revealed on the seller's disclosure report that would make it so that you don't want to buy the home anymore. So there's a lot of inspections that need to happen. There's going to be a lot of things to arrange, so let's get right into it. So one of the biggest things that you're going to need to do is get a home inspection to find out if there are any conditions that maybe the seller wasn't aware of that might be costly to you as a buyer to get fixed. Not only would you want a home inspection, but you'd want a survey of the property, especially if it's not a townhome or a condo or something like that. That way you can identify the boundary lines of the property and determine whether there are any encroachments or any issues that could be revealed by a survey that can be fixed prior to closing. Survey issues are issues that affect the title to the property. So if you choose not to get a survey, then you're potentially overlooking serious title issues that you'll have to correct when you want to someday sell the home. Another thing that you should do during due diligence, if you didn't do it before you went under contract, is obtain a copy of the restrictive covenants and review them to make sure that there's nothing in there that would prevent you from doing what you want to do with the property. For example, if you want to be able to put in a pool, but their pools aren't allowed, then that would be a big bummer and you're not going to want to buy that house. So you don't want to find that out after you buy the property. You want to look at that before closing and before the expiration of due diligence if possible. Aside from a home inspection, there are lots of other inspections that you can get on your home. And as a closing attorney whose job it is to be wary and advise you to do everything that you can to make sure that the home is in good condition, we advise our clients in our engagement letter to get all of these inspections. So septic inspection, termite, stucco, well, basically if there's an inspection, get it. And in Lake Norman, radon inspection is one of those too. So basically if you can get an inspector to check it out, we think you should, because the more information you have during due diligence, the better decision you can make about whether you want to move forward. If your home has a septic system, then you should obtain a copy of the septic permit. Usually your agent does this during the process of due diligence to make sure that the home is actually permitted for the number of bedrooms that it was listed for. Sometimes it happens that a home was listed for 5 bedrooms, but the septic permit only says it's 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. So that's something that the parties will want to work out before closing. Another thing, if you are getting a loan, then you're going to want to obtain a list of all your lender's conditions for you to be able to be approved for the loan and actually get to closing day. Sometimes we'll have people find out that they don't meet their lender's conditions for approval, but due diligence has already passed. So that means they've given up their due diligence money, which you lose at the beginning of the process, but also their earnest money, because if you cancel after the expiration of due diligence, you lose your earnest money as well. So if you can get the conditions required by your lender up front and make sure that you can meet those and provide all the information required to be able to get to closing, you can avoid some of that heartache. Another thing is identifying your homeowner's insurance and making sure that the closing attorney and your lender has a copy well before closing. I have seen this hold up closings many a time where homeowners or buyers are in the process of getting everything else done that they need to for closing. They're arranging movers, they've got temporary lodging, they've got storage they're working on, and they're thinking about getting into the home, but they're not thinking about insuring it. So they haven't obtained homeowners insurance, and that prevents them from being able to close. That's one of your lender's requirements to be able to close. So make sure you get that in as soon as you can. So once you've identified the homeowner's insurance, just have them shoot over a copy to the closing attorney and your lender so that can be in the file and ready to go. Another thing is, if you and the seller have negotiated for the seller to complete any repairs on the home, you're going to want to make sure those are done before the day of closing, because if the seller hasn't done what they need to do by the day of closing, it's going to be very difficult to make sure that gets done before the deed records. And usually by the time the deed records, you've lost all your leverage to make sure repairs get completed. So make sure you're checking on the status of those repairs well in advance of closing so that there will be ample time to get any of those negotiated repairs complete to the level that was agreed to in the due diligence repair request. Now, that is, of course, not an all-encompassing checklist. If you close at my office, we give you a checklist to go by, but also your agent is, very experienced at this and has probably their own checklist that they're going to want you to follow. But the short answer is, if you have the opportunity to check out the property, you should do all that you can to make sure that it's the property you really want to buy. This is a big commitment, it's a lot of money, and you're usually going to be there a while. So you want to make sure this is the one that you want. So don't skimp on due diligence. I know it can be expensive, but it's way more expensive to get in the home and find out you've got a major repair that you didn't know about because you didn't get a home inspection, or to find out that you've got a major title issue that you have to remedy because you didn't get a survey. So I always encourage people, spend the little bit of money up front so that you're not spending 10 times as much down the road to correct problems you could have known about before closing. If you have other questions about real estate law in North Carolina, make sure you check out the channel to watch my other videos.